Hi everybody, my name is Jimmy Carroll. I'm the Vice President of Operations at Tech B2B Marketing. We are here at SPIE Photonics West 2024 doing the Manufacturing Matters podcast, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Randall Hinton and John Lewis. Randall is from Edmund Optics, and I guess Randall, for those out there who don't know Edmund, which I don't think there are too many people, at least beyond the industrial space, they might not know, but people here in automation and photonics, they know Edmund. But if you could still give us a background on the company, what you do there, and what you guys are excited about, that'd be great.
Sure. It's an honor to be here. Thanks, Jimmy, John. So Edmund Optics, we've been around since 1942. And, the catalog's been a big part of that business. But what you may not know is half of what we do is custom. We have 8 manufacturing sites worldwide. Manufacturing components, lenses, prisms, doing custom laser optics. We just kind of integrated a new factory down in Florida, expanded, and so we're doing a lot of laser coatings there, and high laser damage threshold coatings, whether that's in defense or in laser cavities, in medical devices, it's been an exciting time.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about that new facility because that's relatively new, right? So, I mean, beyond the obvious, what are some ways that that's helped you respond quicker to customer demands or get out ahead of them?
Yeah, well, it's really opened new markets. So I've been really focused on the last couple of years, kind of looking at laser integration, and so that's really enabled us to do more high laser coatings, dichroics, going after the laser cavities of some of our medical devices. We've also started doing laser crystal polishing there, and really kind of shoring up some of the defense business in that realm. So it's really broadened our portfolio and allowed us to service kind of a different application range.
Can you talk a little bit about some of the applications where lasers and optics are combined?
Yeah, so it's pretty exciting. Historically, you have your imaging system, you have your vision integrators, which you're all familiar with. Cameras, lights, looking at getting all that together, having that right illumination configuration, and the right cameras. And what we've seen in laser integration is kind of parallel, right? You have a laser, you have a target, you have optics that take that laser, bend that beam around, focus it. Is it a single focal point or an area, right? Having galvanometers to scan over an area, or just a single objective to focus. And what's really cool is, just one example, pills. In pharmaceutical, a lot of tablets, they actually have micro holes in them that are drilled by the laser, and so you have these integrators who are not only setting up the laser and focusing it on that assembly line, but they're doing vision inspection and quality control at the same time. So there's really this kind of merge of vision integrators and what I'm calling laser integrators. And where Edmund Optics is positioned is, we're not manufacturing the laser, right? We're enabling people to make lasers, but we also have a lot of components that help on that beam delivery side. So just like in optics, we don't make cameras, but we help focus. We help provide insight into the optics. We can do that on the same side on the laser beam delivery. And so whether we are, manufacturing stents, stents is a big in the micro machining space. So if you're not familiar, stent, that's what holds up your arteries when you've had too much pizza and you need surgery. And so those stents are highly sensitive things, precision. And so, there's inspection that goes into it though, but also micro machining. And so that real-time monitoring of how that's being machined is critical in some of those things.
Yeah, you mentioned laser integrators and vision integrators, right? So are there examples of people that you've worked with that can do both? And if not, how do they typically work together to work on a system that incorporates both lasers and vision?
Yeah, one company off the top of my head, Control Microsystems, they're out of Florida. They kind of have some semi-custom solutions for pharmaceutical processing and the drilling. And so, we've, along with other folks, you have beam expanders, mirrors, things to move the beam around. With our coating capabilities, one thing we've seen is you have a lot of folks, there's a partial mirror, or what you call a dichroic, that's really critical to seeing. You got to reflect the beam down to the target, which is high. You have a laser coating here, but you're also trying to image through it, right? And so there's a lot of optics challenges that goes into that piece of glass, making sure your wavefront through the glass is appropriate for, one, what you're imaging, and two, that it's not distorting the laser profile, beam profile as it goes through the target. So that's definitely an area where we've put a lot of investment into and understanding what that surface flatness looks like before and after coating.
Okay. Yeah, interesting. You talked about imaging during laser processing. And essentially, in imaging, both applications are similar in that you're putting the photons where they need to be.
Right.
But when handling lasers, I don't know, do you work in any higher energy lasers where things like laser damage threshold is important?
Right.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah. So in machine process and micro machining, you certainly have some higher powers there. That you need to be worried about. And so we have, again, I go back to beam expanders, but those are evaluated so the optic designs don't have any ghost reflections or back reflections in those optics to cause any burn spots within the system. We're doing we have the machines and capabilities to do those layers, whether it's on an IBS chamber or evaporative coating. We have those, and that's on the kind of the microprocessing side. But we're also working with folks in ophthalmology, right? So nanoseconds, we'll call that kind of your typical pulse for a laser, historically in micro machining. But in the last, let's just say 10 years, right? Ultra fast lasers have really picked up, and so. Ultra-fast it's not nanosecond. Picosecond is 10 to the 9th, and then you're going to femtosecond, 10 to the 12th. And so femtosecond, really fast pulse. But a lot of things happen there. It's a high energy, but it's in very short pulse. And so you can actually, that's what's done in LASIK, right? LASIK is femtosecond. And so, there's a lot of companies right now who are saying, hey, we can use not just LASIK surgery, but we can actually focus into the cornea itself and modify the index of refraction, right? So basically non-surgical kind of manipulation. And you see that kind of going, kind of similar wavelengths in modifying what's called an intraocular lens, right? An artificial lens put in here to correct for vision. And then even higher kind of contact lenses can kind of be processed. And so a lot of these, with ultrafast, you can kind of do some low energy work in the biomedical space without damaging the cells, but still kind of use those nonlinear properties to manipulate stuff. So it's really fascinating time to be in optics. Yeah, so many innovations.
Yeah, on that note, sorry, John, if you had a...
No, I don't. No.
Okay, just checking. I don't want to jump in. A tendency to do that. In terms of you saying it's an exciting time to be in optics, yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask about, and this is not limited necessarily to one particular industry or vertical, but, cameras are getting faster and higher resolution, and the pixels are getting smaller, and obviously the performance of any imaging or machine vision system is more than just the camera. There are all the subcomponents to it, and lenses and optics are a part of that. How do you guys respond to this rapidly evolving camera space? Like, do you work in partnership with these camera companies? Do you get out ahead of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we work closely with all the with a lot of the camera manufacturers. And the camera manufacturers are working closely with the sensors, who's coming out with the next sensor and what's kind of going on. And I won't even go into the whole AI thing, but yeah, we work closely with them. And one of the sensors that came out recently was the Sony SensoSwear. And we've had some SWIR optics for quite a while, but those were largely geared toward kind of the defense market, things like that. And so with this sensor kind of coming into the scene, SWIR's back, and it's cheaper and it's more accessible than ever to folks to kind of reimagine how they can inspect things. And we've seen that in pharmaceuticals, folks looking at filters and things, out in 1650, 1600, right? And you can just really. You can really maximize contrast, so many different ways you can approach inspection now. And we just had one recent opportunity where, we're looking at well plates, right? Hey, is there some liquid there? Is there not liquid there? And with SWIR, boom, you've got that absorption difference, you've got things popping. And we just launched a telecentric lens that's designed for SWIR to really kind of go in there. And so, we certainly work with those partners in the industry. And another one, line scan. There was a while I don't think we were kind of went away from line scan, and then it's really come back with those pixels. And so we got a lot of. Again, we're launching product as those things are getting launched as well. We're trying to be in tandem, and so we've got. We're launching higher res lenses as those keep coming out to make sure we're covering those larger lines.
Yeah, SWIR is an interesting one. We've talked to a number of folks at the show last couple of days on SWIR, and kind of echo that sentiment of it's back is a better way to say it. It's not new.
It's back.
Well, it's gotten a price point where more people
it's accessible.
Can access it.
And beyond Sony and the SenSwear sensor and the camera companies who incorporate it, it's companies like Edmund too that are enabling these systems to solve new problems and or make things faster, more efficient in whatever food and beverage or warehouses looking for the level of inspection or inspecting contents through plastic or whatever it might be. So
and kind of a different market from that is next week is the Society for Laboratory Automation and Screening, right? So again, this whole other kind of industry that has those automation and looking at live cell cultures. And so the other application I saw SWIR in recently was the company's called Cision, like you're cutting vision. And so just this whole world of pathology I just learned about, where your biopsy goes to a lab and you have these pathologist assistants picking out lymph nodes, right? Lymph nodes are indicative of cancer spreading, and so part of that process is pulling out these lymph nodes from this fatty tissue, and it's very manual, and it all looks the same. And so this company, they took basic imaging concepts. Right? What is SWIR? Well, SWIR is a longer wavelength. It penetrates more. It has less scattering. There's these lymph nodes versus fatty tissue. There's that water content difference. Again, sensitive to SWIR. And then they took basic concepts of cross-polarization, illumination. And again, these two tissues, they're one's birefringent, the other isn't. And so again, that modifies, that changes the incident polarization to, again, give you more contrast. And so when you show the picture of their system and live image, boom, the lymph nodes just pop right out of these black spots in this field of white. Just really making the pathologist's life faster and easier to get those lymph nodes, to get them processed, to get them to the slides for analysis and disease diagnosis.
Yeah, I know waiting for results is a very stressful time for many people I know who have cancer and other things, and the faster we can make that happen, the easier it is on everyone.
I mean, it puts things in perspective, right? It's like anybody in their job wants to be able to succeed and do a good job and serve their customers, but yes, it would be nice to not find a rock in my brown rice.
Right,
That's great.
Yeah.
But it's also, it's much more important when you're helping
Yeah.
somebody when it comes to a potential cancer diagnosis. The work is in a lot of ways more
Yeah.
meaningful intrinsically, so
Yeah.
that's cool.
And there's another customer in that space, Formapath, and they have an innovative way to get the lymph nodes out of that tissue. Not necessarily an imaging method, but they are working on some machine learning technologies to do after that to do some help that process go along.
See, Randall, what else haven't we talked about today what's Edmund most excited about at Photonics West? Is there anything we haven't covered?
Yeah. Again, just that idea that we have a marketplace of not just products that we manufacture, but partnering with whether it be camera brands or illumination or other microscopy folks. Where those two do come together and related to automation and pathology, one partner is Zaber on the translation side, and we've partnered with them with a new microscope objective that we've done and designed and manufactured in Tucson. And so we work with them together for an automated microscope, right? So you can, with a little bit of Python programming, you can set that and run and process slides, scan through those slides, X, Y, and Z travel. So I'm really excited about that too.
Cool.
Yeah.
John, anything else from your end?
Nothing from me.
Good. Well, I believe it's edmundoptics.com if
Yep.
people want to learn more. Obviously, LinkedIn. If you have any questions for Randall, would be happy to pass those along.
Yeah.
You can reach us at manufacturing-matters.com. And thanks for checking this out.